You didn't think I'd leave you alone on Christmas, did you? No. I'm at a family gathering today, so if the sound is a bit off, folks, then please bear with me. Please bear with me. I'm recording this in a big, echoey room at a family place where we are generally having a good time. And we've done all our presents on Christmas morning. We've chilled out. Everything's sorted out. I'm about to put the Christmas dinner in the oven or get it started at least. And I thought, you know what? It is Monday, technically, so it is Hobby Nightmares time. Could never leave you alone on Christmas, man. If you are out there and you're having a bit of a lonely time or a bit of a time where you could do with some company, here I am with my Yorkshire tea to share some time with you. So there you go. Hmm. I only have two Hobby Nightmares today, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because I'm mostly going to be just chatting anyway. The cat is here next to me, purring away, and I have one Hobby Nightmare from Cronus and another one from somebody called Aaron. So let's jump in, shall we? So Cronus says, "Hello, great exile, exalted of the northern lands. Thank you very much. I already wrote to you in the past, so please call me Cronus again. Thank you. First, I would like to apologise for how badly my last email was written. I got nervous and made several mistakes. I'll try to do better with this one. It's no problem, man. I mean, maybe all you need to do is just proofread it before you send it. The amount of times I send an official letter or email or something like that and I catch something just before it goes out because I gave it a once glance over. It happens every time, dude. So don't worry about it. This nightmare is about a tournament I went to a couple of weeks ago at one of the closest stores in my local area. I was running about helping my mum get errands done because I try to be a good son like that. Good. As we were in traffic, I was scrolling through Facebook. I wasn't the one driving, obviously, when I saw a nearby store I go to was having a tournament the next day. I decided I'm going to go and get a couple of games in. It's cool, no problem with that. The only downside I saw at the time was that it was 10 in the morning and I live an hour and a half away. I figured it was a small price to pay for a game of toy soldiers. I did the maths and I found out I would have to wake up around 7 to get prepped and on my merry way. I put together a list, checked to make sure I had that time of day. Checked to make sure I had time to do it that day. With some small background, I am a type 1 diabetic and need an insulin pump to be able to function without feeling like I'm dying. Oh my god. Do you know what? Do you know one thing that I've always, makes me appreciate my health is when something goes wrong. I've had a wisdom tooth for the past 5 or 6 days, and yes, you can get wisdom teeth up until you're in your late 40s. So but I've had a wisdom tooth for the past 5 or 6 days maybe, and it's just starting to abate and go away now. And I can't imagine having something like this every single day, but it's kind of on par with something that's not great that you're going to have around you all the time. So if you are suffering from a chronic condition, my heart goes out to you, especially at Christmas, and I hope you're managing well. Anyway, every 3 days I have to change it out as it runs out of insulin. That night I had to arrange it. I had to change it out at midnight. I took it out and forgot to put a new one in. That was a bad move on my end. Yeah, no shit, that's going to go really well. I go to the tournament the next morning. I start out feeling great and ready to play some games. After some trouble with pairings, that may or may not have been my fault. This was the first tournament I have ever been to. I feel I should state that this would be my first game against anybody who has spent a modicum of time in the game. My first opponent was a Chaos Knight player. Oh my god. Oh my days. There was an opinion said in our What Does Your Army Say About You video the other week about Chaos Knights and just saying, look, or Knights in general, and saying, look, nobody wants to play against two models. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of agree with that sentiment. I don't know anybody who would go out of their way to be like, oh great, you've brought two models to a battle. I'm going to love this. Because it's just nothing. It's a nothing game tactically. Do you know what I mean? So I can totally understand why people get frustrated with it. Also, you are going for your first game of 40k and you chose to go to a tournament. A lot of these hobby nightmares sometimes, I do kind of think, right, lad, what were you expecting? What were you expecting? A self-fulfilling prophecy, if ever there was one. Anyway, we carry on. I have no hostility against him, and none of this was his fault. He was a heck of a nice guy. His list consisted of a Serratus Knight Lancer, a bunch of War Dogs, some Pink Horrors, and another Chaos Knight I can't remember. I, playing Tyranids, took quite a while to set up, and we got off to a late start. Being relatively new to the game, I let him go first as I won the roll-off. I wanted to get everything solidified in my head. He took every objective marker, but my own, of course. When he shot, he took out somewhere near half of my army. It was at this moment that I started to feel a little unwell. I put up some slight resistance, pelting his lancer with shots from things like the barb gaunts and termagaunts, but none of it was enough to take it down. Deep striking my Trigon and charging it at said lancer was what did the most damage, and even then it was slaughtered when it got punched back. Every shot I would put out would need all-round 60s to wound. I didn't kill a single one of his models. The game ends and I have a single unit of Genestealers left that I completely forgot about. I wasn't too upset, because I know knights are pretty powerful, but it was a little disheartening to say the least. I got all my models put in their boxes and set up on the side. We were the first game done by a long shot despite starting late. The score was 82-18. My stomach felt like it was about to unleash Nurgle's blessings all over the floor in front of me at this point. I spent the next half an hour or so going to and from the bathroom in the back, trying not to puke. Some good came out of this though, because I did get to meet a really nice chap who I'm going to be playing hopefully a more balanced game against. That's good. I left a little later and went home to replace my pump. I only played one game, sadly. That's my hobby nightmare. Before I go, I would like to say a couple of things. I don't want to date my lost friend from... I don't want to date my lost friend from my last story. I just want to be able to speak with her once more. I have a saying. My melancholic solitude plagues me with visions of a time whence I was more of a jovial disposition. Okay. I want her back, so I may not endure the melancholic solitude. Second, my friend John has gotten into the hobby and wants to start with Grey Knights. Any suggestion where he should start? He's already done the most important bit, dude. He selected Grey Knights, which means he is a man of culture. And that is the most important decision he's ever going to make in the hobby. In all seriousness, though, the Combat Patrol is brilliant. So you can get a hold of that box set, go for it. It's fantastic. So absolutely go and have fun with that box set. It has everything that you need for a Grey Knight list in there, and you get this really easy to build off on as well. Go for it. Combat Patrol. That's what you should start. Anyway. And finally, what do you think of the new Night Lords kill team? I will definitely be picking up a box just for those. I hope you have a grand day, my friend. Thank you, Cronus. Okay, I really like the new Night Lords kill team. I think kill teams in general are what I would like to see more of Games Workshop in terms of how they build and paint their models, or how they build and sculpt their models. They are modular. They are model sets that can be converted in extreme ways. You know, they're not monopose, and you know what? I just think it's a really good way of doing models. So any kill team I see, generally, I'm very happy to see. And the Night Lords one looks absolutely fantastic. And I'm not going to pick it up myself because I'm not doing Chaos for now, but still, absolutely fantastic. What you did there, though, Cronus, was a typical, I'm not going to say rookie error, but it is something that you go to a tournament saying, hey, this is the first time I've played, this is going to be fun, and when you get your shit pushed in, it's more like, well, why did that happen to me? Well, it happened because you played your first game at a tournament, and good on you for recognising that it wasn't your opponent's fault. he wasn't the toxic one there. He's playing a cheesy army that no one has fun against. Yeah, no problem. But maybe he just likes big mechs. On the flip side, if he was a nice guy, you know, it wasn't his fault, and you recognise that. So good on you. Good on you. All right. Okay. Moving on. Aaron says, or as everybody who's called Aaron, I call them this. Aaron says, "Hey North, Aaron here. Your friendly, not-so-local Conquest Vanguard. Today, I have not a nightmare, but a sort of moral dilemma." I like these ones, moral dilemmas. I've been having that I'd love your thoughts on. I've come to the conclusion that I rather enjoy losing at this game. I'm not sure if it's coming from the fact that I've run so many intro games where I've become accustomed to give an easy win to a newcomer to get them interested in the game, but lately, as in the last time we met as a group to play, I noticed that I tend to throw games on purpose, even with people who I've been playing with for quite some time. Forgetting rules I know by heart, or fudging dice rolls in my opponent's favour. Just seeing these people who I've grown to cherish so much to be so happy that pulling off their carefully planned strategies, or cheering when they win a really close game, brings me so much joy I can't even explain. Wow. Alright, I'm gonna have to comment on that. Dude, like, you've taken the most important rule of 40k, which is, you know, both players have to have a good time, and you've just ran with it, you know? I'm not going to tell you the way you're playing the game's wrong, because there is no wrong way to play it. I've said there are good and bad ways to play it in terms of, you know, how the rules are written, you know? If both players if you're playing a game of 40k, I've said it before, and your opponent doesn't have a good time because of your behaviour and the way that you're playing the game, you're not playing the game properly. That's the only time I would say you're not playing the game properly. Okay? You definitely are playing the game properly. In fact, you're playing the game properly more than somebody, for me, who would be a tournament legend who wins all of his games and all of his opponents are snapped in half within half of the first turn, you know? You're a better 40k player than them because you're growing the hobby. You're not driving people away from it. Now, tournaments have their place. Do not get me wrong. And if you play at tournaments, you're not a bad player at 40k. You're just a good tournament player. But in terms of overall general 40k, I wouldn't class you as one of the best players. Because the best players are not only good at the game, but they ensure that their opponents are always having a good time. And to do that without them thinking that you're letting them win takes a lot of skill in the game, actually, and not skill in the rules. So what you're doing here is actually quite skillful in terms of, you know, making sure that they don't know. The issue there is, if they start to learn and know that you lose all the time, or that you let them win, your opponents are going to dry up very, very, very quickly. Because one thing that most 40k players are an honourable bunch. We like to win games fairly. And if we get a sense that you're letting us win, we probably won't play with you. So be very careful on that score. Right? Moving on. I guess the problem I'm having is that I feel almost guilty in a way. I always keep the games close and enjoyable, but I planned on taking the L before the game has even started. And I don't want them to feel like I'm devaluing their time by just handing them wins. Again, yeah, you're coming down on the same side as me. You're devaluing their time if they know what you're doing. Not to say I never win games. I normally play pretty fluffy lists, but keep a few powerful ones for when people in the club get a little too high and mighty with one another and need to be humbled. Maybe I'm overthinking it because I've had another club recently approach me wanting to have a friendly club versus club tournament, and I'm not sure if I've prepared my players enough for that kind of setting. Though, everybody seems really excited for it. So what do you think? Am I overthinking this, or should I take the kid gloves off and let it rip? Okay. TLDR, do they lose on their own merit? I love what you do, man. Thanks for reading. And as always, I'll attach some pictures of some of the models I've done for my players. I give a simple incentive. If you love the game enough to get yourself one of the bigger models, I offer to paint one of them free of charge so they can have something to be proud of and show off on the tabletop. Alright, so I don't have access to those right now because I'm on a different computer. But here's the thing. I'm kind of certain and sure that you're a hobby dad. I don't mean you've got kids. I mean you're the dad of the group. All right. Hmm. Now the danger there is being the dad of the group. You can want to protect people rather than letting them go out and make their own mistakes. Like when me and my missus, when we eventually are lucky enough to have a kid together, I've said to her, look, my child is going to go out in the back garden and play in the dirt. They're going to play in the dirt and they're going to make mistakes. They're going to have fun and make mistakes in a safe way, right? I'm not going to let them get, scars or anything. But if they want to go and eat mud, then they can go and eat mud because they need to learn mud doesn't taste very nice and it might make them ill, right? Needs to happen. Kids need to have their immune system built up. They need to make some mistakes. They need to make sure that they're learning by doing things, whilst the parent is there to make sure they're not making mistakes that are going to change their lives or anything. You know what I mean? So that's what they do. You're the same way. You do not want your children, your friends who are in the club, to face any sort of adversity because you care about them. But sometimes, man, you need to be cruel to be kind. You need to make sure that they're playing the game properly and make sure that when they are playing the game that they realise sometimes things can go very, very, very wrong. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? What you're doing there is you're well in the Christmas spirit, you're well in the spirit of the season, you're trying to make sure everybody's having a good time. And you know what? I applaud your attitude. There's nothing wrong with that. I applaud your attitude. But at the same time, a few of these guys might get a bit of a rude awakening if they go into a tournament setting. I'm betting you've already played this tournament and they've all had their shit pushed in, right? Well, that's because the group that you've selected to play as is not very competitive. And there's nothing wrong with that either. If you want to play a big fluffy load of games with a big fluffy load of people and just have fun doing that, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. Absolutely. But sometimes if you're gauging that maybe they're at a severe disadvantage in a tournament setting because of you, maybe it's time to start playing the game properly. There'll be a lot of people in the comment section I know, and I know what my lads are like, right, who will be saying, don't ever do that with me. If I find you handing me a game, I will pick up my models and stop playing you. Because again, we're a very honourable bunch. We are war gamers. We are here to play a game on a tabletop that is fair and above board. And if you take that away from us, even by being nice, you devalue our time. And wargaming takes a lot of time. You devalue that if you cheat, and you devalue that if you take away the legitimacy of the game, even if you're being nice in doing so. I know I'd be kind of annoyed with somebody if they try to just hand the game to me. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would be like. But I applaud your attitude. Your attitude is there, man. It's correct. The other person has to have a good time. That's the great attitude. Like, distill that bit, right? But don't throw games. That's the true skill of a 40k player, is to play the game well and play the game in a way that you give yourself the best chance of winning, but you're so good at a rapport and you're so good at making sure that you and your opponent are having a good time that your opponent never guesses that, maybe, just maybe, you might not letting him win, but your opponent never feels the pinch of the loss if they do lose. And if they win, they're really happy because you played a really good game. You know what I mean? So there are two different sides to that. So just make sure you distill your attitude down into the good part. The good part. So don't be there saying, oh well, we'll do this and I'll let you win and no. Good war gamers, war games who've been around, or even people who know body language will know what you're doing, and it'll devalue their time, and you'll eventually run out of opponents because they won't want to play you. You've got to make sure that you're doing everything within your power to win the game, but you're doing it in a way where you're both having fun. You've got that rapport going, you're having a right good laugh, all that stuff, right? That's what you want. So you're on the right path. You're on the right path. We'll try not to let them win. Do you know what I mean? All right. We are past the 20-minute mark, which I love because I wanted to do 20 minutes of Hobby Nightmares and a little bit longer just talking to you. So I hope you're all having a wonderful Merry Christmas. I hope the day is going well. I hope this video finds you well and that sometime today you're going to watch this and think, hey, that was really nice. You know, we got a bit of Hobby Nightmare time. I will not be around tomorrow because it is a family day tomorrow. So today is like close family, but tomorrow, Boxing Day, our tradition is we go around to my mum's house and we have a curry, this Malaysian curry that she does, which is amazing. So we're going to go around and have that tomorrow. Me, the missus, and a few others. We're going to go around and do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow evening, I'll just be chilling out at home, with a beer and just absolutely putting my feet up. So tomorrow's a day off for me. I'm not going to do any streams or anything like that tomorrow. It's all going to be just nice normal stuff. And then on Wednesday, it is business as usual. So on Wednesday, we will be back for some more Hobby Nightmares, which should be fun. And that is it. So that is the plan for the week. We're going to go from Wednesday to Friday this week. So tomorrow we are off, and then Wednesday to Friday is normal. So we have a Wednesday is Hobby Nightmares, Thursday is a 40k rant, and Friday is another Hobby Nightmares. Weekend, fine. We're going to be fine. And Monday there should be a New Year's Day video, should be, but we'll see. We'll see about that because I'm in Newcastle for New Year's. So I hope you all got the stuff that you wanted for Christmas. I hope you all had a really good time. And if you are alone, the Discord is there. I can already see people talking on the Discord. It's there for a reason, guys. Go and use it. Go and talk to people. All right. There's a brand new link up now. It should be in this video. Every single Monday we do a brand new link, so there should be a new link up there ready to go. All right. One other thing is that we have a novella released by yours truly, by me. It's called Bloke, and it is about male mental health and adapting your mental health and getting better with your mental health through wargaming and video games and the gym and all sorts of other things. We work out on there. The first half of that novella is up now. It is on the Patreon. All you need to do is become a Patreon on the Bloke access level, and you'll get access to the first half of the book. The second half of the book will be out in January. I'm looking forward to doing that one because the first chapter of that one is women. That's going to be pretty interesting. So yeah, that is what we're doing right now. I love you all long time, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Actually, no, Wednesday. I'll speak to you on Wednesday. Yeah, have a good one. Bye now.